Welcome back. I'm glad you tuned in to what may be a controversial topic for some podcasters, why you should ignore reviews. Now, I know it can seem counterintuitive. Of course, feedback provides insight. But obsessively chasing 5 stars can hurt more than help. On this show, we take an unfiltered look at podcasting tactics, even unconventional perspectives. Reviews have limitations despite the weight we give them. By the end, I hope to provide a thought-provoking case for basing your priorities on serving your core audience, not reviewers. Let's dive in. First, it's important to recognize that podcast reviews often don't reflect the true value you provide listeners. The volume of ratings is minimal on most shows. You may have thousands of listeners, but dozens of reviews. Hardly a representative sample. And the rating systems themselves are flawed. Users ignore guidelines and conflate stars with liking a host instead of the show quality. One bad day or minor issue leads some to provide a damaging 1-star review and skew average ratings. The systems are far from scientific. While feedback has uses, don't forget reviews are an unreliable vanity metric at best. Keep perspective. Now, let's talk about how negative feedback often carries disproportionate weight. When it comes to ratings, negative feedback often carries far more weight than positive reviews in listeners' minds. For example, the weight of just one 1-star rating can outweigh the impact of 55-star reviews. The negativity biases perception. Likewise, critiques and written reviews frequently fixate on minor grievances. The audio quality was inconsistent. The episode was too short. Yet hosts feel pressured to significantly modify shows based on this feedback from likely unengaged listeners. Don't hand them the wheel. The healthiest mindset is to focus your efforts on your true core audience. Their experience should steer the ship. Rather than trying to please the most fringe critics, optimize your show for superfans who deeply appreciate your work. For example, if 90% of your regular listeners love the length and format, don't change course for the 10% who want less frequency or longer episodes. Reviews from random drive-by listeners who find one episode via search should not outweigh the preferences of those who loyally engage with all of your content over the long term. Let your core community guide your efforts. Make the show for those who already love it, rather than chasing reviewers. Now let's discuss why raw download numbers and growth metrics matter far more than subjective star ratings. Rather than reviews, you should measure success by goals and growth metrics directly tied to building your show. Set clear download benchmarks you want to drive by the end of each quarter. Track email list growth week over week. Monitor revenue increases month over month. These tangible indicators matter far more than subjective star ratings when assessing your podcast strategy. Ultimately, reviews are a vanity metric with limited utility. They neither pay the bills nor guarantee sustained audience growth. Focus on the metrics that do. Track downloads, supporters, and revenue using tools that provide data-backed insights. Chasing great reviews can actually backfire. There's a paradox effect where obsessing over ratings hurts your scores. If you constantly worry about pleasing reviewers, it hurts your creativity and enjoyment as a podcaster. Your content suffers. But if you relax and focus on your core fans who already love your work, you can create freely and provide value that earns ratings naturally. Trying to reverse engineer what picky, disengaged reviewers want leads to bland, lifeless content. Stay true to yourself and your community. All right, let's recap why reviews should not dictate your podcasting priorities or content. I covered how they offer limited perspective, negative comments carry disproportionate weight, and core fans matter most. Base success instead on hitting goals around downloads, revenue, and list growth using robust analytics. Of course, if consistent themes arise in reviews over time, by all means reflect and assess if changes are needed. But don't overhaul things for one-off critiques. Rather than chasing stars, focus on your core community. Make the content you and they love. Success flows from that. If you enjoyed this unconventional perspective, I'd be grateful for an honest review. Thanks for listening. Now get out there, relax, and make something amazing without worrying about reviews.